Oh,
Welcome to Punk Rock Radar. Today we have a little treat for you, but first I'm going to kick things off with a riddle. I'll always follow you into the light, but never into the dark. What am I? Doesn't really matter because it's probably something this band would write. That's right, we're talking about a band who loves their water with a pH level above 7. That's right, we're doing Alkaline Trio today, so kick back and hold tight and let's get this going. All right, guys, welcome back. And that's right, today is Alkaline Trio, the day you all have been waiting for. So you can see we have a third person with us today, our good friend, Lewis, who loves Alkaline Trio. I would say an expert. And then also, I have a question for you, Lou and John. Yeah. This is a question I think everyone gets asked that likes Alkaline Trio. Who's the better singer, Matt or Dan?
I like Matt better, for sure. But I think Dan is a lot better than he used to be.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm definitely a Skiba guy, but as the albums progress, I think, like Lewis said, Dan gets better and better, and his songs get stronger and stronger.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. No, what I thought you were going to ask is what everyone who likes Alkaline Trio gets asked is if they're a 16-year-old girl, which I'm not either. So.
But yeah, I myself am a big Dan fan. I like Dan better than Matt. But like you said, the earlier stuff, Dan, later it gets better. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into the first album, and that album is Goddamnit. I believe it came out in 1998. So Goddamnit, where does this one land? For me, I think I am going to have to put this one in the C tier. I wasn't a big fan of it when it came out. I thought there was a couple cringy songs on here that made me laugh. So that's why I'm putting this one into the C one. So I was listening to this. I just couldn't really come back to it and play it. And there was one song, I think people like this one, but it's called Enjoy Your Day. And I think the lyric that Dan was saying, it was like, I hope he got you roses on Valentine's Day. And I just cracked up and lost it because in my mind, I'm like, Dan, he definitely gave her more than roses, probably gave her the D on Valentine's Day. So, that one, I'm keeping it in the C list. Lou, where are you putting this one?
That song sucks. You're right. And I distinctly have a memory of a girl I was dating at the time. I left that on the car radio as I went to go pay for gas, and she just came out saying, "This band is terrible." Like, what are you listening to? I think I put it a little bit higher than you. You put it in C. I think I'm going to be a B. I think obviously it has quite a few good songs on it, despite some of the stinkers. And I think a lot of the really good ones have stuck around with the band for a long time. So I'm gonna put it at a B.
All right, I'm actually with Matt on this one. I'm going C as well. I same thing like with Bad Religion. I'm not a huge fan of the early catalog. I think we're gonna take a lot of shit from that, but like I think this has its share of really weak songs, especially the one Dan sings. Like I think there's 2 on here, and they're both pretty terrible. So based on that, I'm going with Matt. I'm going to put it in the C tier as well.
Do I get a mulligan if I change my mind?
Yeah, everybody gets one mulligan. Yeah. And thanks for bringing that up. Guys, if you haven't watched one of our tier lists before, we do a maximum of 3 per tier and a minimum of 2, but your S tier can only have 2. So we're going to put some in C, we're going to put some in D. It doesn't mean it sucks. It just means that it's not one of our favorites in the catalog. With that said, guys, let's move on to number 2. Matt, if you want to take us away with Maybe I'll Catch Fire.
Yeah, Maybe I'll Catch Fire. So this is their second one. I believe it came out in 2000. So, listening to this one has a lot of those Alkaline Trio songs that I do like, from their earlier years. I think my favorite one off this one is 5, 3, 10, 4. Keep 'Em Coming, Fuck You, Aurora. I mean, Radio, everyone loves that Radio song. So, after listening to this one, at first I was going to put it down kind of low, but after listening to it like a second time, a third time, I realized this is a good album, and I'm gonna actually put this one up in the A list. So I am putting Maybe I Catch Fire all the way up into A. I feel like this is a good jump from Goddamnit into this, and it was a big jump they made, and that's why I'm putting this one in A.
All right, Lewis.
Yeah, I had originally put this at B, but I'm an A for this one as well. It's a really good album. I think my least favorite song on the album is the opener. And then outside of that, everything else just really much just rocks. I mean, Matt kind of went through the list here, but Radio's obviously like one of the like Alkaline Trio songs, right? Like that's the song I think of. So I'm gonna go with this. Mad at Me is my personal favorite. So let's go A.
All right.
All right.
John has to say.
This give me my first point where I'm definitely really different from you guys. I'm going C on this one too. And honestly, guys, I don't really understand what the infatuation with Radio is. I think it's way too long. If I'm listening to Radio and I think it's a good song, but I like to start it at like that 3-minute mark. I am not somebody who likes acoustic songs in any capacity. I always skip them over no matter what band, no matter what album. And honestly, I think this is pretty on par with Goddamnit, except they added 2 minutes on to almost every song. Like, Fuck You Aurora is probably my favorite track on here, but again, it's almost 5 minutes. Like, why? It doesn't have to be 5 minutes long. So, like I said, I'm going C tier on principle. I think it's pretty similar to Goddamnit, and I do like a lot of the later catalog stuff a lot better.
Okay.
And
I don't think it's that bad, John. That's a good ranking for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's not D tier, but it's not one of my personal favorites. But Lewis, if you want to take us into the self-titled.
Yeah, so the self-titled, I'm sure Matt has the stats there. 2000 it came out, but it's a compilation of, I guess, EPs, singles that came out prior to their first release, Goddamnit. I put this one in at B. I put it kind of the same tier as Goddamnit. It has a lot of the same songs on it, but it has enough of its own independent songs that we thought we had to mention it here, because Goodbye Forever is like known as like another longtime Alkaline Trio song. And personally, like My Friend Peter is one of my favorite Alkaline Trio songs in general, and it's on this album. So I think it's a solid B. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to think on this one.
Yeah, John, I'm going to put this one as C. I'm putting this as C. So I kind of have like a thing. I don't like when bands put out comp albums with songs they already do. Like, I just don't like that. Like, just give me another album with new songs. Like, like I want some new songs. I'm putting this one in that C. The new songs on there are good, but I'm not a big fan of comp albums. So that's why I'm putting this one down in C, John.
You remember this came out like when there really wasn't an internet, right? So like, how would you have... I think you're giving comp albums a hard time in the early 2000s. Because how would you have heard them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't call yourself a fan then if you didn't know it. Or you're not a true fan then. So, there's Napster.
Okay.
Back then in 2000.
And what's funny, like with comp albums on Spotify, like why are compilation albums not in the main discography, but live albums are? Like we've got like 14 live albums for Alkaline Trio, and then the comp albums in its own section. Like why? That makes absolutely no sense.
So that's another thing I was going to say. I'm sorry, John, but real fast if you don't mind. I had to double check once that I was looking at the Alkaline Trio discography and not Fish's, because there's so many live albums. Like they're on par with the band Fish with all their live albums. I was like, why do they need 7 live albums? I don't know. That's just me. Like
that many live albums? I haven't even.
Every album's live.
Yeah, they did one for like every full length. The past lives, it was like the box set.
When they did that tour, yeah.
Yeah.
And Spotify decided to put every one of those in the main discography section, but not this one. And I guys, I'm going D tier on this one. I kind of agree with Matt. There's like a lot of repeat, not a lot, but there's a handful of repeat songs on here. And overall, I never really find myself listening to this one. I don't know why. But I feel like this is one of the first ones I remember, like when it got released. And I don't know about you guys, but we all went to the same high school, and from what I remember, Alkaline Trio fans initially, it was like kind of that crowd that was into like Cursive and Further Seems Forever. Like it wasn't like your standard punk crowd. So I remember for like a little while, I was always like apprehensive about Alkaline Trio. I was like, do they suck like those other bands? And it wasn't until this one that's coming up next, Matt, if you want to take us into it, From Here to Infirmary, that I knew that Alkaline Trio was like a damn good band. And Matt, take us into it, From Here to Infirmary.
Yeah, so from here to Infirmary, I had a difficult time with this because of some of the newer albums, so I didn't quite know where to put this one. This is a solid album. This is a great album. I'm putting this one in B, though. I know I said it was a solid album, so I'm going to throw this one into B. I'm sorry, John. We're going to put this one into A. Excuse me. I just looked at it again. We're going to put this one into A, and we're going to have this in A. And then we're going to actually move my A down to B. I'm going to use my mulligan right now. All right, so I'm going to move my A down to B. I feel like this album, they really grew into themselves. They really became Alkaline Trio. I think the songs that Dan are singing on here got a lot better. And I feel like this gives you a glimpse of what, the future can hold for them with their later albums that came out. So this is why I'm putting this one as A.
I purposefully changed around my list so I wouldn't be the same as you guys, and then Matt, you're moving your stuff to be kind of like what I shifted mine to. But what, Lewis, what about you on From Here to Infirmary?
Well, that thing you said about does this band suck? That is almost exactly how I felt. I didn't want to get into them, and then this was the first album that I listened to, and I was like, this band rocks. Yeah. So. And I still think it is, and that's why it's an S for me. This album's awesome. I can still listen to this one from A to Z, and it actually opened up me to go look at the rest of the back catalog and give that other stuff a listen. And even though I put them at B and you guys put them at D, it was still cool to, hear them. Although I think for my money, this is the best Alkaline Trio studio album that's ever been released.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
So I might be with you. I love this record. This is an S tier for me too. I feel like this is where they kind of found themselves as a band. They really found that Alkaline Trio sound. I still think the production on this is not good. I don't know if there is a well-produced Alkaline Trio album, because I don't think the next couple are that well-produced either. Yeah. But I mean, this is where they really got their shit together. You have Private Eye, Stupid Kid, Armageddon. This one is just full of classic Alkaline Trio songs that have stood the test of time. So this is easy S tier for me. This is probably my number 2 Alkaline Trio record overall. I really love From Here to Infirmary. No complaints from me on this one. I know I complained about everyone else, but so far, I mean, it doesn't get much better than From Here to Infirmary.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
But Lewis, if you want to take us into the next one, Good Mourning.
Good Mourning. A really good follow-up album. Once again, with the production quality is a little strange on this one, and Matt sounds like I guess he had surgery or something. I don't know exactly what's going on, why his voice sounds completely different. This is the raspy album, right?
Yeah.
I've always thought of it. But another really good album. I'm going to put this one at A. A lot of really solid songs on here. I don't really think there's a lot of fluff, and it kind of keeps going. Mm-hmm. And even songs that I find myself not listening to, I really like Donner Party's a really good song. I forgot. I just re-listened to recently. So yeah, that's a solid A for me.
And Matt, what about you, man?
Yeah, so I love Good Mourning. This is a great album, and I'm putting this one in the S tier. So a little backstory to this. I believe when they were recording Good Mourning, I think in an interview, Matt was saying that this was a hard album to record because at the time he was struggling with alcohol and a relationship that was falling apart. So it was kind of like a tough album, he said, to make for himself. But so I'm putting this one in S. This is a great album. This is one of their best sounding ones in my mind. I think the lineup of the songs in here are killer. I can listen to this without skipping one song. So that's why I'm putting this one in S.
I'm 100% with you, man. I am also going S. This is my favorite Alkaline Trio record. We've Had Enough is my favorite Alkaline Trio song. I remember seeing that video on MTV2 and being blown away. I was like, these guys are the modern Misfits, or they're kind of doing what AFI was doing around that time too, that gothic punk, and they just nailed it. And I think this is their absolute peak. This is the only Alkaline Trio record that I don't skip a single song on. And it doesn't have that weird fluff. Well, maybe the end, maybe the last two I'm not crazy about. So I will, but you don't have to skip them because they're at the end. You just turn it off.
Shut it off.
But But yeah,
What?
this is my this is my second and last S tier album. And guys, before we get into the next one, we do have a little treat for you. We have the band Lame Ass Dads, who was featured in our blind band reviews. They sent us in their music video to play for you guys to check them out, because they're like a pretty sick up and coming pop punk band. So we want you to hear them. They kind of sound vaguely reminiscent to about this era Alkaline Trio. So guys, this song is by Lame Ass Dads. I'll put their information in the description below. Check it out and let us know what you think. We'll be right back after it.
All right, guys, that was Lame Ass Dad's My Favorite Boy. So what did you think, Lou?
I mean, you know, those guys, I mean, Lame Ass Dads. I mean, my dad's way lamer than that. I mean, he's like retired, and these guys are rocking. So yeah, you should definitely go check them out. They sounded pretty good from what I got to hear of them.
Yeah, they're definitely doing good. I think they're also doing good, John, on blind band reviews. I think they won their poll. They won their vote. I think they went on to the next round, didn't they?
Yes, and the March Madness bracket is going to kick off next week. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm assuming next week. So make sure you check out blind band reviews. It's super fun. We're having a blast doing it. But let's get back into Alkaline Trio, because we are at what I think is one of the fan favorite albums. Lewis, if you want to take us into Crimson.
Okay. Yes, I like Crimson quite a bit. It's a really good album as well that we just talked about with Good Mourning. Not a ton of filler on this one. Obviously, quite a bit slowed down. You know, it feels like it's a lot more artistically produced, I guess, compared to Good Mourning. But a really solid album, and I think we saw them tour a bunch around this time too, so it holds a special place for me. Can I have 3 in the A? I'm going to put this one in A. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is going to be an A for me. But yeah, I mean, this has a lot of good songs. It has a lot of classic sounding songs on it too. So no major hatred. I have a feeling, Matt, I feel like you want this one pretty high, right?
Yeah, this is my favorite one. And I'm going to say this. This is Alkaline Trio's best album they've made. So I'm putting this one in S. This is the best one they made. Production is great. I feel the flow of the songs go into each other perfectly. This is the overall best album that they've made. I know a lot of people may argue with that and say they're older ones, but I'm looking at everything: quality, production, the lyrics to the song, how many fillers are in here. And there's not that quite many in here. And I just think this one overall sounds the best out of every Alkaline Trio album. And this is the best one that they have made to date. And that's why I'm putting this one in S.
I have no problem with either of your guys' rankings. I was actually deciding between A and S myself on this one. I really enjoy Crimson. Like I'm actually right now considering using my mulligan, but I think I'm gonna leave it as it is. But I mean, guys, Mercy Me, Sadie, Back to Hell. This is their probably most accessible album, I think. Like, this would be a great starting point if you're not familiar with the band. Like, it's like radio ready. It's just full of classic songs. But like you guys said, there is a little bit of filler on here, but that's okay because the songwriting's next level. They're like clearly still riding that peak that they're on, and I have nothing bad really to say about this one. I personally.
What's your least favorite song, Dad? Sorry, what's your least favorite song on this album?
My least favorite. I would say either Your Neck or Smoke. I tend to not like songs in the latter half of the records.
Your Neck is. I love Your Neck.
I like Your Neck. I don't really like The Poison either. Sorry, like when I just saw the track list, I thought it would be interesting to see what we all thought was like the worst song. But yeah, Smoke's not that good either. So yeah. Sorry.
No, it's good. Though. Yeah. I'm going A for this one, and it's really close to S. If I didn't have the nostalgia I do for the other two, it might be enough to push it there. Matt, I know you really like this next one, so I'm curious where you're going to drop Agony and Irony if you want to take us into it.
I think Remains is next.
Oh, yeah, we're at Remains.
Oh, my bad. Yep. Go ahead, Remains.
So Remains is the next one that's up. And this one I hate. I do not like. The title serves it well. It's all their leftovers is the remains of their like F sides. I feel like not a big fan of this. I'm just throwing this one into the D.
Wow. Lewis, what about you?
Yeah, Remains is my other S.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love Remains. I think, I know you hate the compilations, but I think some of these songs are like some of the best songs that Alkaline Trio wrote. I think it's one of the better compilation albums I've ever heard, just from like, it's like a really good deep discography of one-offs or things they put on other things. I love this record. I used to listen to this like nonstop once I got it. And still to this day, I think it's right up there with that. Like Dead End Road is like one of the best songs they ever wrote, I think. It's just a classic poppy punk song, and it's balanced out with all this other dark crap that's on this album. It's so good. So I'm so curious that you put it at D. I want to see where John puts it.
Yeah, Matt, I can't back you on this one. I'm with Lewis. I think this album is really good. Like Warbrain, I think is from the one of the Fat comps. Then you got the songs from the Hot Water Music Split, and all those songs are really good.
You have a couple live songs on there.
I mean, the live songs I don't really get, and the live songs they don't sound good at all. I don't know why they tacked those on here. But like honestly, like I think this is way better than the first three albums. I know I'm gonna get some flack for saying that, but like this kind of captures the spirit of the first few albums. But I feel like the songwriting, the production is all a little bit better. So I'm actually putting this in A. Because I was so hard on the first three, I needed to give this one a little boost, and I do listen to this one quite a bit. I like that the versions of Sadie and the other songs that are on here. So yeah, man, Matt, D is crazy, and you already used your mulligan, so you're stuck with your bad decision.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't think it's a bad decision. I don't think
you don't like Dead and Broken. You don't like Sadie?
This is better than Crimson. This album. That's like
I definitely not. Think so.
Definitely
I like Crimson as a concept. I think as an album is maybe better, but like the quality of the songs overall on this one definitely, in my opinion, is better.
I think this is just like leftovers they threw on.
Less piano.
So I did have like a theory, right? So like honestly I don't like Remains, right? So
clearly.
So I felt like, well, I'll talk about it later. Let's just go into the next one.
All right, Lewis, take us into now Agony and Irony.
I don't know how I follow that. Let's just put it as a B. It's a really good album, but I've been using a lot of my top spots here. So I think that's going to be... Oh, wait, no. You know what? I have to have two in at least, right?
Yeah.
All right, what can I... Matt, you threw me off my game.
All right, so you got this?
Yeah, put Agony and Irony in B, and let's move Goddammit down to C. That's going to be my mulligan, okay? And I still like self-titled in it B. Agony and Irony is a really good album. It feels a lot poppier than the previous album, but also really good and entertaining. I saw them live a lot around this time, and these were a lot of good songs to hear live. Matt?
Yeah, so I'm putting this one actually in A. I feel like this was a great album again. It kind of has that Crimson feel to it, and I feel like they hit everything. This is a good comeback from Remains. To me personally, that's how I look at it. I felt like there should have been a different album in between these two, and that different album should have been the solo project that Matt did, Heavens. And that would have been so great if it went from Crimson into Patent Pendant into this. That would have been like the best 3 albums back to back to back, I feel like. But that came out as a solo thing. But yeah, so I'm putting Agony and Irony, into the A list.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go B here. Like, this is, for me, this is kind of Crimson Part 2, but it's just not as good. Like, I think Calling All Skeletons and Help Me are both really good songs, but they're pretty damn similar, and like, this whole album is pretty vanilla. Like, I feel like they just played it really safe here. The riffs are all generic. There's just nothing really groundbreaking. With that said, like, I still love this album, and it's, for what it is, it's great. It's a great mid-tempo rock album, right? So, but it's just not on the same level as the last couple records for me, so I'm going to drop this in the B tier. Lewis, if you want to take us into This Addiction, I feel like, me personally, I feel like we're on a little bit of a dip, but I'm curious where you're going to put this one.
I mean, I don't really have many places to put it, do I? So, I think I'm going to have to put it in C. I do like This Addiction, like, overall. I think it's a pretty good song. It's a pretty good album. This Addiction itself is a good track. Eating Me Alive's good. Kick Rocks, which I guess is like one of my favorite Alkaline songs, but it's on the deluxe edition, so I don't know if we count it. But it's a good album. Not nearly as good as the previous album, and of course I would say not nearly as good as Crimson before it. So I'm gonna put it in C.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one. So This Addiction, I think I'm gonna have to put This Addiction. God, I don't know. I'm gonna put this one.
You got to be open.
I'm gonna put this in B. I feel like this was okay. This album. The main song off of This Addiction, is probably the best one on the album. But yeah, I'm going to put this one in B. I feel like they kind of slipped off with this album a little bit.
All right, guys, honestly, like, I thought you were both going to have it in D, and I was going to be the one being generous and putting it in C. So I'm glad, because I feel like a lot of Alkaline Trio fans, they hate this one. I feel like this is by far the least popular Alkaline Trio record. And, some of that hate is deserved, but I still think there's some really good songs on here. Like Piss and Vinegar is good. American Scream is good. Like you guys said, the title track is good. But, like, a lot of the songs kind of, like, bleed together. And I really think Eating Me Alive sounds exactly like Help Me. Like, overall, the album feels pretty lazy, even more lazy than Agony and Irony. And for that, I'm putting it in my C tier, which is getting a little crowded right now.
Yeah. What's going on there, John?
I'm just not feeling very generous today, so I'm gonna have a bloated C tier instead of an A or a B. But that's just the way it is. And Matt, go ahead if you want to take us into the next one. My Shame Is True.
Yeah, My Shame Is True. So I'll be honest with you. I didn't really listen to this album that much when it came out. So it was like listening to it like again for the first time when I was playing it for the past 2 weeks. And this album really grew on me. And I think this is a good like recovery from this addiction. It was a good recovery from that addiction they had. And I'm putting this one all the way in the A. My Shame Is True. I feel like it's a good quality album.
Lewis, you got it. There's no way, right?
Yeah, this is a D. I mean everything. I mean, I don't hate every song on this album. Like, I kind of like them, and it's a band that I like, so I tried to like it, obviously. But as soon as I saw that album cover, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like this. And that's the way I still feel. I think it's doesn't really do much for me, and I definitely think it's a step down from This Addiction, personally. John, what do you think?
I agree with you. They are better off staying addicted and having this as a recovery, like Matt said.
They should have been addicted, have no shame.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this album is so boring. Like, I think this is way worse than This Addiction. Like, I put this on again yesterday, and I made it to Only Love, which is, I think, is about halfway through. Or I don't know where it is. I made it to Only Love, and then I woke up like 10 minutes later. But none of these songs resonate with me at all. Like, even She Lied to the FBI, I Want to Be a Warhol, like the songs that people know off this. I don't think either of those are any good. So I'm with Lewis on this one. This is my least favorite Alkaline Trio record. It is in the basement with that compilation that Matt loves so much. So there we go. And guys, we are on our final one. Is This Thing Cursed is our last record. Lewis, if you want to take it away.
So I would have put this one at a C because I think it's an improvement over My Shame Is True, but in the spirit of the game, I'm putting it down at D, but I want it to be my second D, not my last D. I want everyone to know that My Shame Is True is less than this one. But yeah, I think this album is okay. I listened to it again for the first time, I think, since it came out, like getting ready to talk about this. And yeah, I definitely didn't hate it. It definitely is not as boring as My Shame Is True, and it has a couple memorable songs, although I don't think it really hits home like any of the other albums.
All right, Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I hated this album. This one's going straight to D. Listening to this album in order, there's no like rhyme or reason to the songs. They don't fit. I feel like a lot of songs are out of place in here. I just couldn't get into it. I like when an album flows nicely, and I felt like there was just too many change of styles on here with the songs that I couldn't get into. It has ruined that flow for me. So I'm putting this one in D. I didn't like it at all. This might be one of their worst ones, I feel like, with Remains.
All right, so are you guys both in D? Did I get that right?
Yeah. I'm in D, yeah.
All right, well,
high D.
D plus. All right. Well, I only have space in B.
Which you could do D. You could do D.
I won't, because I think this is better than My Shame Is True. I think it's better than This Addiction. I think this is an underrated record. Like, I really enjoy that title track. Like, that's probably my favorite Alkaline Trio song since Agony and Irony came out. I think that's a really solid song. I also like Demon and Division, I Can't Believe, and Throw Me to the Lions. Like, every one of those songs would be the best song on My Shame Is True. So I'm okay with putting this in B. I think this is an underrated record. And I don't know. I tend to like bands' newer material because I've listened to all the old stuff over and over again. This was new, so I'm into it. I like this album. Maybe realistically, it's probably a C, but I'm just playing the game the way that we have assigned these arbitrary rules. Yeah. So it is going in the B tier for me. Guys, with that said, here's our rankings. How are you feeling about how this all panned out?
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. We all have different, I guess, styles of Alkaline Trio that we like.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about that Remains in Matt's basement, but I'll accept it.
Yeah, all of our, there's not one album that's in all of our S tier. That's kind of neat. I think that's the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right, guys, let us know below whose list you agree with most. They're all a little different, and make sure you guys subscribe and leave a thumbs up on this video. It really helps us out, helps other punk rock fans find the channel. And we have a couple of cool things coming up. Next week, we're going to do the best albums of the year 2000. It's going to be part of a new series we're doing. Then the following week, we're doing the Bouncing Souls. And then the week after that, because Matt doesn't care for any of them, I'm going to do the Drive-Thru Record 1999 to 2003 tier list. I've already got it done, so maybe it'll come a little early. But guys,
you have it done already?
I have it done already.
I may have to jump in on some of those. I'll moderate it. Yeah, I got a few.
Because Midtown today announced that they are back. They're playing a headlining show in New Jersey in December. I will definitely be there. So it got me motivated to get my Drive-Thru Record list done. So guys, make sure and check that out. Anything else from either of you guys before we say goodbye?
The answer to that riddle in the beginning was your shadow.
Yeah, I haven't had a popsicle in a long time, so it's been a while since I read that one.
No, nothing to add. Thanks for having me back, and always happy to disagree with Matt. So it's a good time. So.
All right, and Lewis will be back again when we do the Leftover Crack Family, which we're very excited for. It's probably going to be next month. And Matt, anything else from you?
No, that's it. Just make sure you like, subscribe, and write a comment down below. And make sure you say that I have the best tier list. I think that's about it.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next Punk Rock Radar.
All right, here we are again like the first time, but I hope it doesn't sting like the first time. That's right, we're doing a little hidden thing on here. We're going to talk about maybe some of the side projects that Alkaline Trio had. We know with Matt, with Heavens, and then we know Dan has like a shit ton of side projects that he did. So we're going to try to put this in a tier list in here. And for me, I'm going to say Heavens, Patent Pending is an S tier for me out of those side projects. It's my opinion that I think that album is probably better than any other Alkaline Trio album but Crimson, and that's why I'm putting that in the S tier.
All right, Lewis, what about you?
I'm right there with Matt. I might have a cat coming back. We'll see. But I might have lost him. But Heaven's album would be in my S tier if we had counted it. It probably would have taken the spot from Remains and not stuck Remains down in the D. But definitely got to put Heavens up there. It's not quite a solo project, right? I think it has the guy from F- involved in it. So way better than Matt Skiba's solo album. An awesome record that I can just throw on and chill out to anytime.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I actually just remembered, does Matt Skiba has something with Kevin Seconds too, right?
Yeah, it's a split.
So I'm going to use that and I'm going to put it in, I would put that in my C tier probably. I think it's fun. You know, we all like 7 seconds. Maybe we'll hit that one of these days. But yeah, guys, this is just something we wanted to throw in at the end. We wanted to show you our cats for some reason. And Matt is always proud of his toad collection. So
hold on, right over here. So I don't have a cat, so I have a toad collection. Probably the biggest toad collection here in North America.
There's my cat.
There you go. All right. So the guys, if you like side projects, cats, and toad, then this was for you. If you don't, then you probably already shut this off. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.